I get asked a lot from our clients about rainwater catchment and what the best way to do it is. And some people want to carry all of the water that they're going to need for a whole year, and some just want to catch the intermittent storm to water their tomato plants. And unfortunately, I'm not a real fan of either of them. Now, let me tell you why. In the Bay Area of California, we get some rain, although sometimes we get more and sometimes we get less. But generally, all that rain comes in about 3 months in the winter season. And then it really doesn't rain for the rest of the year. And here, where space is a premium, we have to really think about how we're going to contain all that water. So if we want to gain enough water to use for the entire year, that's about 6 swimming pools full of water, if you include irrigation. That's a lot of space. So some people think about putting above ground tanks. Obviously, there's not enough space on a typical 5,000 or 7,000 square foot lot to contain 7 swimming pools full of water. And really, we can't put it underground because it's incredibly expensive to dig holes here. And it's even more expensive to fill those holes with expensive water tanks. So generally, people think much smaller scale. And rainwater catchment here just doesn't make any sense, because if you're not going to contain enough water to use all year round, what are you going to contain? Maybe a month or a week's worth of water? And then you get to use all that rain or all that water at once right after it stops raining, because once it stops raining, it really doesn't start raining for another 9 months or so. And so you essentially have a tank on your property somewhere that's empty for 8.5 months of the year. And that tank costs a lot of money and takes up space. And if it's an underground tank, you can't build anything on top of it. And if it's an overground tank, it looks pretty ugly in a residential area. So in California, it just doesn't make sense to have rainwater catchment systems. If you live somewhere else, maybe some places where it rained during a time and then it was dry for a period and you can use that rainwater, but then it rained again fairly short after that, it makes sense. So this is a very California specific issue, and the fact that we get all of our rain at once and then we don't get any rain for a long period of time. It makes much more sense to do it in a place where it rains intermittently and you can use that water. In California, just doesn't make sense.